Let's turn our attention to the Premier League, the race for the top four. Spurs, the only side really that made any additions to their squad. And of course, two players making the move from Juventus, Bentancur and Kulusevski. Ian, overall, are these different makers with regards to their chances of qualifying for the Champions League?
I doubt it, frankly. They let a few out as well, didn't they? Ndombele, Lo Celso, a couple of others as well. Dele Alli, of course, who's gone. I mean, what a story there, him going for nothing. But Kulusevski, he's probably the better of the two. He's come on loan. I think he can play wide. He can play central as well. Lively player. But both of those players are not wanted by Juventus. Bentancur, I saw playing for Juventus at Chelsea this season in the Champions League. He had a nightmare. He found the pace of the game just way too quick for him. I mean, at his best, he's an elegant, stylish passer of the ball in midfield. So, presumably, you know, the manager knows what he's doing, doesn't he, Conte? He knows Bentancur, so he hopes they make a difference. I'm not sure, frankly, that they're going to make that big a difference.
The argument is, I suppose, Ian, is that they are better than what they had previously.
Well, you could argue that. Is Bentancur a lot better than Lo Celso? Well, he probably is, because Lo Celso hasn't ever really established himself. They better hope so. I mean, he's been using Bergwijn quite a lot, hasn't he, as well, Lo Celso, since he came in. So presumably he's back out on the sidelines. They've got to get Son back in fit again. Harry Kane, you think, is going to have a much better second half of the season than he had first half of the season. So I'm struggling really to think of them. I know they've got games in hand as a side who are going to finish in the top four, if I'm honest.
Shaka, Ian saying that Spurs are more likely to get relegated than make it into the Champions League this season. Do you agree?
That's exactly what I heard from Ian as well. Yeah. Listen, I disagree with Ian. As much as I accept what he's saying, I don't think Spurs' targets are Juventus, dare I say, or even Chelsea. It's about Manchester United and Arsenal. And I think the two players, Kulusevski and Bentancur, are an upgrade on what they already have. I think it moves them a step forward on the competition and makes them better than they were at the start of January. And I think they're two good Antonio Conte signings. I always give Antonio Conte, I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt. Let's remember he turned Victor Moses into a Premier League winning right back. And if before Antonio Conte's arrival you would give him a choice of Victor Moses or Kulusevski or Bentancur, but Moses would come third every single time.
I mean, I think when looking at the top four, going back to what Shaq was saying, I look at the others. And the others ain't very good.
Right.
And I think that would give me hope if I was Tottenham. Not that I'm a great side or I've made brilliant signings, but I look at the rest and I think that's gettable. None of those sides are anything special. And so you wouldn't look at them and say, oh, they'll win 7 or 8 games in a row. Not one of them. So they're giving themselves a chance. In terms of the signings, I would say you could call it 3 signings because the best signing was probably the manager.
Right.
A couple of months before. That could be a big difference. But going back to the two players, Kulusevski will be a workhorse in several positions, but Bentancur, I do agree with Ian, he's gone off the boil. Juventus has not been an easy club to be playing at the moment, and he will have to get up to the speed of the different pace of the Premier League. However, the other players in there, Harry Winks, just okay. Skip, just okay. Højbjerg, he's good defensively, but trust me, he can't pass the ball for toffee more than 20 yards. He can't pass it. Okay. He can only pass it 20 yards. He hasn't got the ability to play any raking passes over the top. Bentancur can do that. The question mark is how's he going to get up to speed with the defensive aspect of the game and protect that back four. That's if indeed he doesn't play Højbjerg and Bentancur. We'll wait and see what he chooses to do. But they definitely had to upgrade that area of the field. They were looking for some guile and aggressiveness from Ndombele. It didn't happen. So they've had to go and look elsewhere. Now, Bentancur's not going to get you, as I said yesterday, many goals. His stats will tell you that. But if he can come in and he can do a job defensively and he can start switching play and playing those longer balls to Son and to Kane, that'll be an upgrade on what they have at the moment. Only time will tell, But I would be confident that these two are at least going to make Spurs a little better in the race for the top 4.
If not Spurs, then who, Ian?
Well, probably Manchester United. I mean, I know they've had their problems, but they've got 17 points out of 24 now since Rangnick took over. So I think they're probably going the right way, not in any kind of spectacular or wow factor way, but I think I'd like their squad looking at it far more than Tottenham's. I mean, you saw Tottenham recently at Chelsea being beaten by them for the 4th time this season. They were pretty wretched, really. I mean, they were a long way short. Conte keeps admitting it as well. And here's another thing. They didn't want Kulusevski and Bentancur. The players they really were aiming for were Luis Diaz, but Liverpool came in and nipped him away from them, and they wanted Adama Traore, but they couldn't get that done either.
God, Ian's very down on Spurs. Meanwhile, Shaka, first time we've had the chance to talk to you about Newcastle since the window closed. A good enough one to keep them up?
Yeah, I think so. Would a front to deliver goals, that's been surely lacking. And as much as Trippier comes in, I think the impressive signing is Bruno Guimaraes. I firmly believe that Newcastle's Achilles heel is how susceptible they are just to conceding. They never look like they're able to keep a clean sheet. Even if they take the lead, they with 11 players behind the ball, they don't seem to know what they're doing. Hopefully Guimaraes brings in some steel defensively, some protection to that back four. He does provide some creativity as well in the midfield, which has also been sorely lacking. I know it's a big ask for one player, but one that ticks all the boxes that Newcastle needed.
Ian, did I hear you tell our producer that you think Newcastle can finish top 4 next season?
Well, not next season, but probably somewhere in the next 3 or 4 years, with all the money they've got. It would be a surprise, really, if they weren't up there somewhere. I'm with Shaka. I mean, I think they bought pretty well. I think Trippier is a great buy for, £12 million, with all the experience and leadership he brings, having won a title at Atletico. I think Dan Burn's a good signing as well. And this guy, Guimaraes, I haven't seen a lot of him, but all the reports are he's a real creator in midfield. So I think that's a coup for Eddie Howe.
Tells you what he thought of the back four, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Goes out and buys.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
a whole new.
You know, Matty Targett's a solid player. I think obviously Gerrard wanted Digne in, who is more experienced and has better quality going forward. I think Targett's more. You're not going to get that from him, but he's solid defensively. So I think clearly that's where they want to shore up. They're thinking, look, we're not going to stay up if we keep leaking goals. We sort this part of the team out. We stop leaking these stupid goals, start keeping some more clean sheets. We'll stay in this division. It's not always about scoring goals to stay in the division. It's important. But if you can't do the basics defensively in the Premier League, and we've seen it before with Norwich and others, where they just hemorrhage goal after goal after goal, previously when they went down, and how they started this season, it just kills you. And so clearly they're starting to build from the back. It's been a really good window for them. And in terms of Guimaraes, he's an all-rounder.
Right.
He's an all-rounder. You're going to see this guy. He does a bit of everything. He's not scared to defend, and he's a really good passer of the ball.
This three, that's good English, isn't it? These three will be back for extra time to answer your questions, which you can always check out over on our YouTube channel. And just a reminder, if you ever miss a show, you can download our daily podcast. Plenty of bonus material there for you as well to enjoy.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.